So, I recently got back into gaming and I was scrolling through Steam for my next purchase that would just rot in my Steam library. I know I'm not the only one, okay? Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. Remembering that I had a million games I bought on sale and never played, I decided to take a look and see what I had. One game that caught my attention was Inside. It might have been because it was in all caps, but also because I've heard good things about the game here and there. But also because it was in all caps. I gave the game a shot with no expectation and no knowledge about what I was about to play. But why did this horror game make me think about our current society? Let me tell you about it. You start the game playing as a kid jumping out of a bush, navigating through the woods in the dark. The game did a wonderful job being mysterious with no dialogue and only giving you one way to go: forward. Throughout the game, you come across various puzzles that help you unlock the story the game is trying to relay to you. The suspense of being chased by those that look just like you or familiar creatures such as dogs with no context heightens the urgency to escape with your life. The first eye-opener for me was when I noticed worms inside the pigs attempting to chase after me. Having to take the worm out of the pig hinted to me that animals could be under some kind of third-party control. What really cemented the mind control idea was when the yellow helmet was first introduced. We see that this helmet is more than just a helmet. It's a device we can use to control other human beings. The game introduces the new mechanic to help us solve puzzles, helping us progress through the story. The puzzles had the perfect amount of difficulty in my opinion. I definitely struggle with some puzzles more than others. Oh my god. Moving through the game starts to show you that there are people that are conscious and those who are unconscious. The game also does a beautiful job making sure that the player is able to see the whole environment. Before entering an unknown building, you see lines of people mindlessly walking forward in a uniform line and pace. Being one of the scariest moments in the game, you're targeted by a recording device, making sure that you're as mindless as the rest of those in line. Should you show any type of free will, you'll be eliminated. Showing you how serious the society takes mental consciousness, it had me thinking about how similar things happen in our current lives. We'll get to that later. The game continues pushing you forward through introducing a new transportation method, the submarine, left behind by conscious workers distracted by research. After getting acclimated with the new environment, we're met with a new creature that looks like a mermaid or a siren. Initially, I was afraid of getting captured by this siren, particularly because I couldn't really figure out how to escape. After some realization, I figured that the scientist was studying the siren, seeing how it would react to certain things like light. Uncovering that the game's society might be creating creatures for an unknown purpose just piled more thoughts into my head about the whole game's meaning. Skipping a bit forward, we get trapped with this siren with no other escape, no other option. Thinking that I was done for, I continued watching the events unfold, realizing it really wasn't the end. Even though I was a bit confused, I watched the siren insert a device into the boy's stomach. I knew it was significant, but the game just made me forget about what was happening because the environment was so beautiful. We regain consciousness and discover that the boy is able to breathe underwater, which I thought was interesting. Not only because we could breathe underwater now, but because the siren that was supposedly trying to get rid of us was actually trying to help us. Traversing through the water and then into an unknown building, we're shown that we're able to control other humans without the power of the helmet. Not only were we given the power to breathe underwater, but also the power to influence others with pure mental. So, what was so important that we were given this heavy responsibility? We sneak into a more secretive science testing part of the building and find scientists run to an observation area. It was eye-opening to see that these scientists didn't care as much as the guards in the beginning. that were freely roaming around places that we may not have free access to. No one was armed, and they seemed to have more important things on their mind other than focusing on my whereabouts. I was getting a bit restless, wanting to know what was so secretive. Everyone was rushing to observe something mysterious. What was grabbing their attention? Rushing to the building, I was able to find an entrance to the observation area, but was still cautious knowing that I was still entering the unknown. Getting pulled through the entrance, we discover the big secret, or now science experiment. The disturbing image of a combined being the center of attention was a shock. Freeing the being was the goal, and as we start the process, we end up joining the being, not by choice. This was the most disturbing part of the game for me. It was mostly due to the way the huddle was moving and reacting to their new environment. You can just see it in my facial expression. We learn that the huddle is trying to escape the facility with its free will. And surprisingly, the scientists and workers are trying to help the huddle escape with its life. We run through some more puzzles, but ultimately make it to the outdoors, where we meet our conclusion of the game. Rolling down a hill that seemed endless, I wasn't sure if we would end up surviving the fall. We're met with the last frame of the huddle peacefully motionless in its final resting place. As the credits rolled, all I could think about was how our society is moving toward the idea of this game. I ultimately believe that the huddle, no matter if it made it or not in the end, was satisfied with experiencing true life, only for a slight moment outside where there was no more control over its thoughts and actions. My mind opened up into thinking about how this society is trying to manipulate us in some of the ways that may lead to the deletion of human consciousness. For example, manipulation and control starts small, which is where I think we are currently, so don't fear. There are always things that can change. We have a few things that are being manipulated based on greed. What was the last thing that you can confidently say you 100% own? That question definitely differs with everybody. Everyone has different preferences, finances, personalities, etc. Have you noticed that we as humans are starting to own less and less as time goes on? I'm sure there are other examples before I get into this whole topic, and I won't get into huge detail, or else, we'll be talking for hours. But some things that come to mind after playing this game are TV entertainment, music, and gaming. Ever since Netflix announced that they would start streaming TV and movies in 2007, an evolved entertainment industry was born. That also meant that there would eventually be some type of competitor. As you may know, there are many different types of streaming services out, such as Hulu, Max, Disney Plus, Apple TV, Paramount, and those are just to name a few. This service may be convenient for those who watch different varieties of movies and shows for a portion of the price every month. When it comes to music subscriptions, you have Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and others. Gaming examples would include Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, Apple Arcade, and others that I can't think of right now. The whole point is that at the end of the day, when you pay money for these subscriptions, yes, you trade your money for entertainment, however you like to enjoy it, but you don't physically own anything. We see this kind of trend in other categories of finance, such as renting a house or an apartment, leasing a car, paying for electricity, Amazon Prime, and other things. There are definitely other factors and examples unrelated to what I just mentioned that can relate to inside, but I would be talking for hours, and I don't want to do that to any of you. Going back to the game Inside, when I played this beautiful game, at the final resting place, I could see the huddle being a representation of humankind. Conscious beings not wanting to conform with the world that's trying to control the way that we live, act, and think. Even having that minute of silence, that minute of freedom, that minute of peace was better than conforming to the life of manipulation. I know that there are many theories on this game, and I would love to hear your thoughts about those theories in the comments below. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and let me know if you would like me to talk about a different topic. I would love to hear your thoughts, or I would love to read your thoughts. Thank you all for stopping by. Hope to see you again in the future. Get some good rest and spend some time outside when you can. Peace.